Release. Let it out. Quit. Feel how good it feels to let yourself move, sing, shout, scream, do, express whatever it is you want to let out. Urmakawa Arnata Kua Anata Ornata Urmanata Urmanata. Join in. Ormutuku Urmanata Uanati Ki Urmanata. Ormanana Marnataku Ushkin Marnatuku Ornatuku Ornanana Burtuku Uanata Kawashnake. Feel how it feels.
I can feel my spine opening. My whole spine started to expand as you were doing that. It's like Falandafa.
Very slowly, just allow yourself. Feel how it feels. You can almost feel the magnetism in your body and the magnetic feeling.
Oh, you can feel
you really feel into it. Then allows you to move. It pulls itself into where it needs to go, and then it makes it stronger, which makes it even more obvious, which makes it pulls it even more. That it keeps emphasizing and heightening itself, and you know where to place your hand more, and it invigorates it even more. And when you're doing this, you'll feel releasements in your body. It just feels good. Your body knows exactly what you need. On that note.
What can I say? What an incredible interview and an incredible meditation. And we got to hear your stunning singing voice. So some people, if you're lucky and you go and do the sound stuff with Paul and use the bed, you might be lucky enough to get his beautiful singing voice as well.
If they want that. That's I suppose.
If they want it, yeah. So there you go. So, oh God, that was beautiful. Just very. I was interviewing an incredible 5D consciousness group yesterday called Love Has Won. Love Has Won. They're incredible, these two girls. And we finished it with the word ahava. Ahava in Hebrew is love. And the same way as you've got Buddha, Brahma, Allah, Adonai, it's always this open sound, ahava. It's a beautiful word in Hebrew. Love, like Wayne Dyer doesn't say love. He said we should actually pronounce it love.
Yeah, you can feel it, can't you, in a word when you express it.
It's an open, everything is open. The words are open. And it's like you have just opened up the whole of my spine. I could feel all the vertebrae just, first of all, the way it started when you started singing, I went back to my Jewish roots. And in the synagogue, you had the cantor, the chazan, and they would sing like that. So I could feel it right deep down in my solar plexus and my lower stomach. And then that's what it means to me. I'm getting into the core of my feelings. And so I let that happen. And then it starts to open more and more. And then as you went along, the spine started to open up like that, stretching outwards and outwards. You know, I always get so much from all of this because it's so detoxifying. You know, everything works in me so fast. I'm like a cat. You know, if you give an animal homeopathy, they don't have any barriers. So it's the same with me. I'm so open to all these techniques and healing because there's nothing to stop it. I don't have a barrier. I don't have saying, oh, this isn't going to work. You know what I mean? So that was incredible, Paul. I need to do another interview with you. My God, you should be doing your whole show. I reckon you should do a show and on there here, we're listening. Every week, half an hour with Paul McDonald. I think, like, particularly while we're in lockdown, you could do your own lockdown series coming from the Positivity Center. How would you feel about
that? My little soundbar.
I think it'd be incredible. And you could put your own music. We are live still with this. You could put your own music in the background because you're writing all this stuff anyway. But, you know, half an hour. Like I've got people doing half an hour and I'm just saying, anybody, if you want to come on to Moving On TV, email me at movingontv1@gmail.com. this
share it.
opportunity to do your own show.
And share it.
Share your talents, exactly. Martin does letting go in lockdown. Martin does hypnotherapy, letting go in lockdown. I have the lovely Ellen Carter. She's done books. She's done around her garden, organic vegetables. She did abundance in lockdown. I've got Jaden Darcy, Mr. Darcy. I can't wait to see his program. He's in Australia. He's doing a program, and there you go. Louise Hammond, fingers crossed, she's going to do her own Muse acting program in the lockdown. So there you go. Now we've got Paul McDonald, and you can do a lockdown series for us.
Yeah, I'm up for it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Cool.
I'll do a weekly resonation.
Yeah, weekly from the Positivity Center, whatever it is you feel. Anyway, thank you so much, Paul. What can I say? It's been an incredible interview. And you've given so much. And that's what I love about this awakening, is we're all giving so much from the heart. You know, and I'm not checking how many subscriptions, how many likes, but I do need to get to 1,000 subscriptions on Moving On TV in order to stream live now, because everything has changed with YouTube. So we need to build up. The more subscriptions we have, the more wonderful people like Paul I can bring on. Okay. So take care. Have a beautiful dinner. Love to everyone, and we'll see you soon. So lots of love.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Peace.
Thanks you, Laurene.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye. Bye. Welcome to Moving On TV. I'm very, very tired, and I've kind of missed today. I don't know what happened yesterday, Monday. I can't remember. I think I stayed in bed nearly all day. I wasn't very well, exhausted. And I just want to say something to you.
Welcome to Moving On TV.
Hang on, I've got an echo. I want to say something to the people that think that I'm bipolar. I'm not bipolar. As I say, I never take medication, so if I was bipolar, how would I come out of the lows? I'm not high, I'm not low. I just want to explain something to you. Like, we're human, and we're going through hell. And a lot of the messages, I posted a lot of messages about loneliness because that's how I felt. I felt like I'm getting ill because of it. But the more I'm going through it, I woke up this morning and I realized that I'm getting stronger and coping better on my own. And then a miracle happened, and I saw Philip Day's newsletter. And when I saw Philip Day's newsletter and I read it, all this hope came into my body. And I realized that we're coming through. We're coming through. All right? And I thought, I haven't spoken to Philip for quite a long time. How about I give him a ring? So I did. Hang on a second. Let me make sure that on. I did. Hang on a second. Let me make sure that on. I just want to check Facebook. I did. Hang on a second. Let me make sure that on. I just want to check Facebook. I did. Hang on a second. Let me make sure that on. I just want to check Facebook. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's it. Right, we're live. Okay, we're live. Right, we're live. We're live on YouTube. We're live. We're live. Oh, we're live. Okay, we're live. Great. We're live and the viewer count is working. Isn't that amazing? Right. So, what I'm saying to you is I rang Philip and I haven't spoken to him for a long time. And Philip Day was the one that taught me how to stay well and how to prevent and how to heal. You know what? And you know I tell you all the time what you need to do. But I'm going to be creating a bit shoot, a quick news flash of what we talked about. And I'm going to be directing you to his newsletter. Okay? And explaining a little bit to you about what's going on and how everything is coming to an end in a positive way. Okay, in a few months from now, you won't even know what that thing was. You know, it makes my blood boil when I look on Facebook and they're making an industry out of these implements, or blindfolds, as Baba Bertha calls them, selling you all these pretty looking ones and whatever. It's coming to an end. The loneliness, the devastation, the lack of everything, everything we've been through is coming to an end. All right? And if you've got a brain and you're watching, then you must be questioning some of the things that are going on at the moment in America. Right? Like, for example, if I could say it on here, why would you need to impeach a president that has already been outvoted? For God's sake, guys, you've got to, if you don't ask that one, because it's all happening for a reason, okay? Anyway, I'm doing a news flash for you. But before I do that, I want to tell you that I'm not faking it when I feel like I do. The depression is real. The upset, the panic, the shock of how my life has become, the loneliness, and the fact that you can't rely on anybody anymore, that you really just have to rely on yourself, even if you've been with someone for a quarter of a century. Yeah, 26 years, that's a quarter of a century. You cannot rely on them anymore. They may not be there for you, and that's a fact. You've lived with someone for 26 years, you cannot rely on them, and that's a fact. Okay? You need to get very strong in yourselves. Get very strong in yourselves. And my biggest lesson is dealing with being completely alone at the moment. So that when I come out of this, I will be stronger than I've ever been. But with a lot of compassion for myself and others, by understanding what's really going on. But it still doesn't absolve some people, and I don't understand the way they behave. All right? And I'm not saying that from anger. I'm kind of shocked at how people can leave people on their own all the time. If it wasn't me, if you're leaving people that are not as strong as me, there will be devastating things happening. That's all I'm saying. All right? I'm me. And I have got strengths that not everyone has, as you know, as my job as a starseed. And I know what's coming. and I know what's going on. But there are people out there that if you don't go and visit them or keep in touch with them, they will fall apart completely. And do you want that on your conscience? Because I wouldn't. Right? That's all I'm saying. And also I'm going to read to you, and I'm not holier than thou. I'm very lonely today. I'm still lonely, and I'm still not feeling that good. And I'm not going to do much. I didn't do the schedule, and that's why you haven't had the programs, because I just got up. Because the schedule is pre-programmed, all right? And the programs go on all through the night and the day because they're programmed. And if I don't do them, they don't happen. So I've just created a new schedule for you to start at 2:30 with David Elam's, an amazing person, an autistic man who they took his child away from him, who doesn't use medication like me. He uses the power of now, and he uses yoga. And I use everything. I use primal screaming, and as you know, got me into trouble the other day because the police turned up. But primal screaming was good for you as long as you can do it in a safe area. Throwing things and primal screaming is fantastic. You won't be able to sing for about a week afterwards because you're using loads of energy, like me. But do primal screaming. I recommend it. I push it. Get it all out of you. And I am not, I'm very lonely. That's not changed. I feel it. It's like the day is going to drag, it feels. But I'm accepting it now. I've got a news flash to do that's going to take up some energy, and I'm going to do that now in a minute once I leave you. I've got some tarot to do today because I'm starting a new channel. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you won't see my face on it. It's going to be one of those with the hands. But you'll have to guess. But I'll tell you eventually. But it's going to be a channel for tarot only. Okay? And I'm excited about that because I will at some point be able to earn money, but hopefully I'll be able to build it like other people build theirs. Because it won't be on moving on TV. There still will be tarot, free tarot in here for you guys. Of course there will. But this is going to be something else. So what I'm saying to you guys is a miracle gave me Philip Day today, spoke to me, gave me 15 minutes and gave me everything I needed to know. And I trust him with my life because he saved my life. If it wasn't for him, my sister may not be walking around now either, because he taught us how to heal. She was sick. My mother had died. My aunt had died. My grandfather had died. And then my sister got sick. And I thought, that's it. The buck ends there. And by pure coincidence, because the universe knew that I had to be saved and healed, it put me in Turkey. I'll never forget it. And my sister was ill. And I walked into a shop and there was a plaque. Why are we dying to know the truth? That star sign that comes after Gemini, I think. It's when your birthday is in June. The crab. Why are we dying to know the truth? Never look back. I went to Philip Day's seminar. I got rid of all my chemicals, so all my hair, anything that I was using on my body went in the bin. I changed my eating habits and I started taking that little fruit that has a little nut inside it. It's kind of peachy color. Every day, about 2 or 3 a day. Touch wood, I'm very well. That man saved my life because everybody else in the family had got it, every woman. Why would I not be next? And my grandfather. There was a huge strain, very, very weak genes in our family, genetically very weak. And then I went to Spain and I did some mind, body, spirit and myself, my psychic abilities, and I cut the cord. And that's why the girls are healthy, thank God. But if they go the way their mother wants them to go, they won't be for very long.
because of that, they can't have children. And I can heal it, but she won't let me, so whatever. So anyway, coming back to what I'm saying to you, the other thing which has got to me in the last week or so is my father-in-law was put in hospital for what you will find out is clowns. It's not real. And you will find that out soon. And give me as many thumbs down as you want. Philip Day gave me the information. I'm getting the intel and I know in my heart exactly what's going on. You will find out about this flu that is easier to cure than a cold. I could have cured him in one day. Like some of my friends who've had it, had a cold, yeah? That's all it is. In one day. 2 days the most, but they wouldn't let me. I just have to watch. So they put Martin in quarantine, and he hasn't seen me for 3 weeks. And it's such a big issue to come here for a couple of hours to talk to Laurene now. So he's okay, it's a gift. No one comes here. I get so strong. I learn how to be on my own all the time if I want to be. This is not my choice. This is not to be alone by choice. This is loneliness. This has been plonked on me, forced on me. But it's for the children. It's for humanity. And I love humanity more than I love myself. I love the children and the future of humanity is why I get up in the morning or in the evening or whatever, and I do Moving On TV. As Philip Day said to me, get on with your work, Laurene, well done. And that means a lot to me because he saved my life and he's been doing this for a lot longer than I have. He predicted everything and he was right about everything. If you check his book, 10 Minutes to Midnight, he predicted Brexit. All the ins and outs of ins. And he was right about everything, Philip Day. And I love him. And he won't let me have an interview, but he will one day. He will. And I will find out where he came from and why, how, and what. We laughed about that today because we're one of each other now. We are all connected. The consciousness of those of us that know the truth, the star seeds that we are, that go against the grain. It doesn't matter how much abuse we get, and I get continuous abuse and thumbs down. It doesn't stop me. And I get tested and I get pushed to the limit. And the biggest lessons that I'm learning, I have no one. You know that I have no one here. But I have the most beautiful starseed friends. Right? And I don't have religion either, and I don't intend to have religion. I believe in Jesus and Buddha and all the prophets. And I'm grateful that I was born Jewish for the first time in my life. I don't practice religion, but God, did that give me a heads up on what's really going on in our world because of what happened to my ancestors. And if I hadn't been Jewish, I wouldn't have had a heads up, would I? And I knew what happened to my ancestors, and that was easy for me to understand the process and how this is going. First of all, you destroy people's morale. That's exactly what has happened. And they're not getting me. They're not getting me. And this is not an act. I told you I am so lonely, and tonight I might go on there crying again. Oh my God, I'm lonely. This is not an act. This is the ascension, and I'm here to tell you to be real, to be honest, and to show your truth. Okay? Who are you? And what are you? And don't be afraid to say, I'm scared, I'm lonely, I don't know what to do. Because that's what I'm showing you. It's my job. And every time I come on here and I do it, it's because it's my job. And another day I'll do ecstatic dancing. Another day I'll do singing. Another day I will do whatever God, love, directs me to do. I'm not afraid to tell you how lonely I am and how scared I am sometimes when I'm that lonely and disappointed, because you should do that as well. I'm not scared to do that because it's my job. I was put on this planet to be honest, to be wide open and honest, and tell you to tell the truth. Ring your bell and say, I feel like shit today. Today, physically, I don't feel well. I'm exhausted. I didn't eat yesterday at all. I think I ate on Sunday. I can't remember. The day just disappeared. What was yesterday? Monday. I didn't have a Monday. I think I slept. I don't remember. It just went. All I know is today's Tuesday. And I had a wonderful conversation with Philip, and I'm going to put a newsflash on BitChute, which you can watch. I'll put the link. It won't be on YouTube, obviously. And on there will be a wonderful link for you. And you will get a lot of great information from that link and from that man. And there will be some information. I will give you some quick information and the link. And then also you can go on Patreon. Join our Patreon. Join our Patreon. But I will give most of the information on BitChute. All right? Because you need to know where to go in order to find out what I know as well. What will keep me going. And it's beautiful. Just trust. It's all working out. Stand up for yourself. Do your research. Wake up. Trust. And if you're feeling like shit, say it. Admit the truth. Don't hide anymore. Because I'm here as a messenger to ascend. And ascension is ups and downs and all over the place. When you ascend, you go up and down, not and sideways. That's how it is. And I think it was Sunday when I realized one of the biggest issues I had and why I was so upset, and I talked about it. I think I mentioned it on here, but was connected to the book Simply Amazing and My Awakening. It's usually coming from our childhood, from abusive situations that we went through. If you need any more help, contact me and I'll work with you. But before we go on to David, it's only 1 o'clock. Stopping, right, February the 9th. And again, as I said to you, just because I'm reading this to you, doesn't mean I'm not struggling. I am struggling today. I'm struggling every day. Every day is a struggle to try and learn how to be on my own, continuously on my own, continuously. And of course, we've got the snow and I've got a burst tire. I wouldn't go out in this anyway, because as I said, don't go out in the ice, because since my accident, I don't want to fall over. Did you see how I danced on Saturday night? That was the leg that the doctors said I may not walk again, all right? And I had no operation. That's proof. I'm so proud of that leg. Proof. And on Saturday night, we'll do ecstatic dancing again. Please join me. And if anyone wants to come to the bunker, let me know and come and dance with me. Right. February the 9th is Letting Go in Love. This is from the book, The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. She also wrote Codependent No More and Beyond Codependency. This woman lost her son in a skiing accident. Can you believe it? And she goes on and heals people. When people with a compulsive disorder do whatever it is they are compelled to do, they are not saying they don't love you, they are saying they don't love themselves. Gentle people, gentle souls, go in love. Yes, at times we need to be firm, assertive. Those times when we change, when we acquire new behavior, when we need to convince others and ourselves we have rights, those times are not permanent. We may need to get angry, to make a decision or set a boundary, but we can't afford to stay resentful. It's difficult to have compassion for one who is victimizing us, but once we've removed ourselves as victims, we can find compassion. Our path, our way is a gentle one. Walked in love, love for self, love for others. Set boundaries, detach. take care of ourselves, and as quickly as possible do those things in love. Today, and whenever possible, God's love lets me be gentle with myself and others. Help me find the balance between assertive action taken in my own best interests and love for others. Help me understand that at times those two ideas are one. Let me read that again. Let me be gentle with myself and others, and help me find the balance between assertive action taken in my own best interest and love for others. Help me understand that at times those two ideas are one. Help me find the right path for me. Okay? Letting go in love. So first of all, you take care of yourself. You're gentle with yourself and others. And then you have to find the balance. It's all about balance for the good of yourself and the good of the world. As I said to you, yes, the children and humanity are more important to me than anything, but so is my life. And my life fits into that if I don't fight, if I surrender. And so I'm surrendering to the loneliness. I'm not saying that won't mean that I won't come on here crying or putting on messages about how dangerous it is to be lonely. I am saying that I am surrendering 1 minute at a time in the power of now. I'm surrendering 1 day at a time. Let's have a look at A Course in Miracles for today. This is beautiful. God love goes with me wherever I go. Take your higher power wherever you go, or wherever you don't go. God love goes with me wherever I go. And the lesson is, today's idea will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment all the separated ones experience. Depression is an inevitable consequence of separation. So are anxiety, worry, a deep sense of helplessness, misery, suffering, and intense fear of loss. The separated ones have invented many cures for what they believe to be the ills of the world. But the one thing they do not do is to question the reality of the problem. Yet its effects cannot be cured because the problem is not real. The idea for today has the power to end all the foolishness forever, and foolishness it is, despite the serious and tragic forms it may take. Deep within you is everything that is perfect, ready to radiate through you and out into the world. It will cure all sorrow and pain, and fear and loss, because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and suffered out of its allegiance to them. You can never be deprived of your perfect holiness because its source goes with you wherever you go. You can never suffer because the source of all joy goes with you wherever you go. You can never be alone because the source of all life goes with you wherever you go. Nothing can destroy your peace of mind because God goes with you wherever you go. We understand that you do not believe all this. How could you, when the truth is hidden deep within, under a heavy cloud of insane thoughts, dense and obscuring, yet representing all you see? Today we will make our first real attempt to get past this dark and heavy cloud and to go through it. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. To go through it to the light beyond. There will only be one long practice period in the morning. As soon as you get up, sit quietly for 3 to 5 minutes with your eyes closed. At the beginning of the practice period, repeat today's idea very slowly. Make no effort to think of anything. Try instead to get a sense of turning inward past all the idle thoughts of the world. Try to enter very deeply into your own mind, keeping it clear of my thoughts that might divert your attention. From time to time, you may repeat the idea if you find it helpful. But most of all, try to sink down and inward, away from the world and all the foolish thoughts of the world. You are trying to reach past all these things. You are trying to leave appearances and approach reality. It is quite possible to reach God love. In fact, it is very easy because it is the most natural thing in the world. You might even say it is the only natural thing in the world. The way will open if you believe it is possible. This exercise can bring very startling results, even the first time it is attempted, and sooner or later it is always successful. We will go into more detail about this kind of practice as we go along, but it will never fail completely. An instant success is possible. Throughout the day, use today's idea often, repeating it very slowly, preferably with eyes closed. Think of what you're saying, what the words mean. Concentrate on the holiness that they imply about you, on the unfailing companionship that is yours, on the complete protection that surrounds you. You can indeed afford to laugh at fear thoughts, remembering that God love goes with you wherever you go. Let's do the exercise together. Close your eyes. Let your thoughts come and go. And then just say, God goes with me wherever I go. Try to sink down, away from the world and all the foolish thoughts. Okay? For 5 minutes, we're going to do it together. Sun's coming out. Take a deep breath. Ground yourself. God love goes with me wherever I go. 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 That's it. Feel a sense that you are protected and loved, because love goes with you wherever you go. Can't go wrong. You'll choose the right decisions that come from here. Love goes with me. For me, it's the heart, from the heart. Love goes with me wherever I go. You will make the decisions that are right for you, as Melody Beattie said. You will love yourself. You will make the decisions that are right for you first, from the heart. And balancing out, that are right for others, but you first. Love goes with me wherever I go. Just be honest with yourself. Love goes with you wherever you go. That was beautiful. Let's do a How to Stay Sane in a Crazy World card for the day for you. Spirit, please give me a card. How to Stay Sane in a Crazy World card, please. And then if I can find the Just for Today book, it probably got thrown around a bit with the primal screaming. Oh, there it is. I'll read the Just for Today book for you as well for the February the 9th. Okay, Spirit, can I have a card, please? Rest and recuperate. That's what I'm doing. Today you've chosen the number 7. And apparently God rested on the 7th day, the Sabbath. Today I will be a human being, not a human doing. I will rest. I will put my feet up for as long as I can because I'm worth it. Have a bath. Go for a walk in nature. Be careful not to fall over in the ice if there's any ice. Wear sturdy shoes. Or do nothing. Do nothing. Today I've got a few things I've got to do. I've done this. And then I'm putting on a program for you. It's Community Tuesday, so I'll put a program on from the community. Let's read February the 9th. 2:30 is David Elam's, and then there'll be programs going on. I have some secret goals, some things I long to do, and yet fear often holds me back. It can be fear of failure or fear of success. I keep saying I can't to myself, saying or thinking I can't certainly limits me. That is the time to start saying, I would like to, and with my higher power's help, I can. Love goes with me wherever I go to help me set my goals. Nothing is impossible with the help of my higher power. The sun is coming out. I can get all the strength I need, all the ability I need, and all the confidence I need. I can be free, happy, healthy, loving, and successful. I can be all I was created to be. Meditation for today. Thanks for all the help you give me when I ask and when I do not. Remind me never to take that help for granted. And if I want to, I can. I don't like to say want. It makes you wanting all the time. If I decide to, I can. If I really, really think something is, I'd like it to happen, I can make it happen. So to summarize, Course in Miracles, love goes with me wherever I go. Melody Beatty, love yourself first and make decisions from your heart. Letting go in love. Letting go of what other people want for you. Do what you want. And just for today is, if you really want it to happen, you can make it happen. And that's it. I'm going to edit the news flash, which will make you feel happier, please God, and give you another source to follow to help you find out what's going on and what's coming. And if you don't know yet, contact me at movingontv1@gmail.com, and I did put everything on BitChute, so it's all going on BitChute. I'm not going to deny that to anyone. You all have a right to find that out. But please join our Patreon, Moving On TV Patreon, because that helps me earn a living as well. I just about paid for Adobe this month through the Patreon, so I'm really grateful for that. Thank you. But now I'm going to put a program on, a community program. Let's see, what have we got in the community for Community Tuesday? If you have any requests for programs, let me know. Please send me an email. If you want to come on to Moving On TV, let me know. Please send me an email. Right, Community Tuesday. What have we got? What can I put on down for a while? They've all been on, haven't they? What else have I got? Something that lasts for a while I'm doing the news flash. How about a book show? When is this? What's your book show? Enjoy. Oh, this is brilliant. This is about Amma, the nun. Oh, please don't tell me there's no sound on the videos. I've got my viewers count back, but there's no sound on the videos. Why is that? Okay, I've got to... Oh. But I just played Paul. So it couldn't be, it must be something to do with that show. Hang on. Try something else. Nope, no sound. Hang on, is it me? I turned the sound down? No, there's no sound. It's got to be some kind of explanation to why there's no sound. There's always something. There was no picture, no sound, no viewer count. Now there was no viewer count. Now there's no sound. Right, okay, let's just check something here. I wish I had someone else to do it for me. I really do. Am I coming through? Can you guys hear me? Well, I'm not muted. I've got no sound on the videos now. Can you hear me?
guys hear me?
Yeah, you can, I'm coming through, right? I can hear myself. Why is there no sound on the videos? I've got to contact them again. God, this is really tires me out. I wish you guys could do this for me. Could be this computer again. No. Oh, the sound is working. No sound on videos. Please describe your question. Yeah, no sound on video suddenly. On streaming videos suddenly. Why is there no sound? Let's get rid of the cookies. I spend more time trying to fix this thing than working. It's a nightmare. I can't be bothered. I can't, because I can't use Chrome video. That freezes all the time. And now there's no sound on Firefox. Hold on, let's turn that off. I can't get any sound on the video. Nothing.
And I love the way that you said that actually in the Eastern world, people who start to have visions and see God everywhere and hear voices,
Okay, I fixed it. Right, here we go. This is the book show with Ram Dass and Amma, the hugging nun. Enjoy.
welcome to the book show. It's really good to have you on. Thank you for letting me interview you. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you pretty well. It's a little echoey, and I'm very deaf. I'm really not good with my ears. So, if I don't understand something, be prepared for me to say what.
Okay. Yes, I remember reading about that. So, basically, most of my viewers will not have heard of Rising in Love, and so I'm just going to say that this is a book. We're interviewing today. We're interviewing Ram Dass Batchelder today about Rising in Love, which is a book about Amma, the hugging nun in India, and about his experiences, his journey as one of her disciples, but also his whole journey before he actually arrived there, and which is absolutely fascinating. And just very quickly, it's got 5 stars on Amazon, is that right?
Well, yes, it's got a 5-star rating. It's got 63 5-star reviews on Amazon.
Wow.
And so people are really loving it, and it's selling very well.
That is wonderful. And our own Russell Brand has actually given it a review. Beautiful book by an adorable lunatic about the incomparable Amma. I love it. I love it.
I'm flattered to be called an adorable lunatic like Russell Brand.
Well, I love the references that you make to us lunatics, us people with mental health problems. And I love the way that you said that actually in the Eastern world, people who start to have visions and see God everywhere and hear voices are told to go to an ashram and meditate and get a guru. But unfortunately in the Western world, where half the population are being told that they're mad and being put on drugs and stuck into asylums. So I didn't know that about the Eastern world, but I think it's really, really important to highlight that in the interview. So tell us about the book. It's Mark, isn't it? Or do you go by the name Ram Dass?
Well, actually, yeah, I go by the name Ram Dass. Everyone, including the grandparents, calls me Ram Dass these days.
They call you Ram Dass these days.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us about the book, because as I say, most of my viewers are not aware of the book yet. And I think it'd be wonderful if you could just give us a general idea for them.
Well, it's my autobiography, really, but the main focus is on my years with Amma, the hugging saint, who I met in 1987. And it also has a substantial section, as you mentioned, about the years before I met Amma, when I had a very powerful and profound spiritual awakening, but I didn't know anything about spirituality at the time. Mm-hmm. And so I went from, in my views, when I was about 21, to suddenly hearing God's voice, discovering that God was real, and becoming quite deluded about it. I was actually smoking heaps of marijuana. That was my primary spiritual path at the time. And it was very, very powerful for me. This is not a pro-drug book. It also, the fact that I was using marijuana drove me very close to insane. So I finally had to quit completely. But in those days, when I would smoke marijuana, I would have these very profound experiences and a direct communion with God, and even I guess it was the Kundalini was rising in a certain kind of way that I would glow with the visible light. That people who had never before seen an aura would see a glow around me. And so, this was very exciting for my ego. I thought I was something very special.
Yes.
In fact, for a while I thought I was a Messiah. Because I had an experience of meeting an angel, and God was speaking to me, and I was glowing with a visible light. I mean, what else could it be? I had no other possible explanation. And largely that is because of, you could say, the stupidity of my upbringing. Or just you could say the cultural ignorance, in the culture I grew up in. We didn't know anything about saints. I didn't know anything about enlightenment. I didn't even know there was such a thing. And the whole spiritual path was completely hidden from me. And so when I started having these extremely powerful experiences, I didn't have any other context to put it in other than the Messiah story, which I had learned in church, of course, but had rejected along with everything else I heard in church. But suddenly, the reality of it was hitting me over the head with just like a ton of bricks, and so I became quite confused and deluded, and I went through a couple of years of kind of borderline craziness, of seriously on a manic phase, you could say, where I thought I was a Messiah, and then I went through a couple of very serious depressions also. Where the Messiah illusion fell away, and I plummeted into the despair of, oh my God, what have I done with my life? I thought completely insane. I thought I was a Messiah? What kind of idiot must I be? I saw myself through the eyes of my parents and other people who thought, wow, I'm so crazy. And suddenly I realized, oh my God, I did go crazy. What a horrible fate this is. What an idiot I am. And then after walking through very intense depression for some 6 months, coming right back out of it into another Messiah phase where the divine energy had come upon me again, and it was quite something to live through that.
Well,
but by the grace of God, I did live through it and didn't end up killing myself, and discovered meditation.
Yeah.
And once I discovered meditation, which I didn't take a course in it. Somebody just said, oh, we have a meditation room here, why don't you give it a try? And I just sat down and very quickly discovered, oh my God, this is fantastic. I don't need marijuana anymore.
That came across in
very quickly my delusion fell away. Once I quit smoking marijuana, and I got established in a spiritual practice, which was simple meditation. I would just sit and pray and close my eyes and just watch what would happen in my body, and my mind would become quite deeply centered in God, and I would have beautiful experiences. And I was like, okay, finally I get it. And then I discovered, very soon thereafter, I discovered books about the saints of India. For instance, Be Here Now, by the American Ram Dass, the more famous one.
Yeah, you said he came to your college when you were younger, but you had absolutely no interest in spirituality at all.
Not at all when I was younger. And I rejected it. I thought it was baloney. In fact, the same Ram Dass, the guy who's now in a wheelchair, he came to my college when I was there, and I was like, I couldn't care less. I don't know what that crap is, but it's baloney as far as I can tell, and I didn't even go.
Actually, your book is very funny, and the way you describe all the things you got up to when you were young, putting the string across the road and, and stuff like that, and urinating and then getting beaten up and mooning and stuff like that. And there's little anecdotes to how you were as a kid.
I was a very ordinary young American boy, and most of my mind was about sex and mischief. So there was nothing particularly special about me. My parents they're both now reverends. They both went to Yale Divinity School, so that gave us a certain kind of they spoke in very complete sentences, let's put it that way. So we were raised with a certain level of intelligence, And they did bring us to church with a lot of dedication, you know, with a lot of discipline. We were brought to church, but they didn't really believe what we were being told in church, and I didn't believe it either. You know, they were too smart for the fundamentalist Christian thing, and they basically they really don't believe any of it. You know, that's the truth. But they brought us for morality, to learn the ways of being a good person, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate that I wasn't raised by fundamentalists.
Yeah.
Because I think that's much harder to break out of. At least we were given an open mind and the freedom to question. This we were given. The freedom to question baloney and call it what it is.
Yeah. To be able to think in a different way. But let's go back to your first experience of spirituality as a young boy. And you said you were at the dentist and you were having gas. They gave you gas. And you had this experience. Yeah. How old were you?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I was 8 or 6 or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe it was 7 or 8. Yeah. And I had a rather large gap in between my two front teeth, and they said we've got to cut a tendon that's keeping the teeth from growing together. So that was what the surgery was about, and they gave me laughing gas, and I remember it very distinctly because it was a very powerful experience. I found myself way out of my body in the universe and spinning around. And I think that laughing gas brings this kind of dream motion. Anyway, spinning around in this ecstasy, and instead of the throbbing of pain, the throbbing was the spinning, going around this fantastic whirligig ride. And I remember looking at my human self in the dentist chair and thinking, this is the funniest thing, the absurd idea that I am the little boy in the dentist chair. It's so funny because I know now what I am. I am this infinite vastness that is made of bliss. And I'm so vast and so exquisitely divine and having so much fun that the idea that I was that little boy in the chair was just hysterical. This is why I was laughing.
But then you didn't follow on. You carried on using a lot of marijuana and getting a lot of experiences of seeing God all over the place.
Eventually, that started. Yes.
And then one day you ended up going to your you got into acting, into theatre. This is very parallel with my life, except I never took drugs. With me, it was food. I was a food addict. But I never saw God. I never saw anything. But then you got into theatre and you got quite serious into theatre. But one day you went to your teacher and you told him you've had enough and you're going to follow the spiritual life. You're literally going to leave everything behind. And this is what's calling you, this spiritual life. Is that right?
Well, yes, I had been having a sort of spontaneous spiritual awakening, even with marijuana. Well, I was having more and more profound experiences of the divinity that is pervading everything. And everything I looked at, I was from God and everything I saw. And it was such a powerful thing, and I was like, oh my God, I was having so many powerful experiences. I was just like, I can't do this and also try to be in a professional theater training program. It just seems like I have to give myself completely to this awakening, and I want to get out of this
Hello?
Yeah, I have to stop.
Of course. And then you discovered A Course in Miracles and Elizabeth Clare Prophet. As I say, my journey is so similar. The Violet Flame and A Course in Miracles, and they're so powerful. So you went to, you started to work on the Violet Flame and did the invocations, and you started to get that sense of peace and being connected to everything through the Violet Flame. Is that right?
Well, it was useful for me for a while to do those invocations. Shall I give an example? I am the violet flame in action in me now. I am the violet flame who like alone I bow. I am the violet flame blazing like a sun. I am the violet.
Yeah, I love it.
I was doing some affirmations, and they're powerful. And one day I was alone in my little studio apartment in Brooklyn. I was chanting another affirmation to the blue flame of the Archangel to that one. And the door of my oven
Yeah, you
suddenly
talked about
blew
that.
open, and a tongue of blue flame leapt into the room 3 feet long.
That is a real manifestation.
Yes, it was a
Scary
fantastic manifestation. I mean,
I love
wow, what was that? Like a dragon.
I love the way everything in the book is showing you something. You know, like Greg Braden talks about the world around us. Whatever happens to our cars or anything is manifesting what's going on inside us, and is a sign in some way of our journey. I love the story about the jacks, that you found a jack in the car, and you know, all the, whenever anything goes wrong, you always realize that there is no wrong. Wrong is only there in order to show us the light. And you know, it's all, of course, in miracles, and very, very similar to everything that I'm learning myself. So so go on then. So you got into the violet flame and the blue flame.
Yeah.
And were you never scared of it?
And I was also doing psychotherapy. I mean, this was very important for me at a certain stage. It kept me from, it helped me, find my way out of my craziness and keep me from committing suicide, and finally led me to spirituality. It was that bridge between my crazy spirituality and my sane spirituality. It was psychotherapy, so that was very helpful. It helped me.
And you were very, very lucky. You're very lucky that your parents were determined to keep you out of the asylums when you were going through all this. Absolutely.
Yes, I really have been blessed with amazing parents, and they were very, very, kind to walk with me through my craziness. Even when I was very angry at them and blaming them for everything, they did their best to keep me out of mental hospital. And keep me and pay for my therapy. I mean, they paid just so much money to keep me insane, and so I'm very grateful for that. They deserve angels' wings, I'm sure.
So you found a spiritual counselor that believed in you, that believed that what you were going through was spiritual awakenings, rather than stick you
she
on
understood
drugs.
spirituality. She knew the Course in Miracles. She knew God, and she knew about reincarnation. So suddenly I had found someone who could understand what I was going through, because previously it was like I was the only one in my entire world who knew anything about what I was going through, and it put me in a very sort of strange position, because the knowledge I was receiving was so potent and so true, but everybody around me thought I was just crazy. They didn't understand it. So to find someone wise who understood the basics and confirmed for me what I was going through, but helped me sort of find the right context for it, this was very good, very beneficial.
Now, I love your little anecdotes of going crazy. The bit about God taking your marbles, polishing them and giving them back to you. That is so amazing, because I have also got a mental illness, and half the people in the UK are being diagnosed, and I think it's really important to show them, you know, all these beautiful anecdotes of yours, and that made me laugh. That reminded me of Peter Pan, with, I can't remember his name, but he keeps losing his marbles. One of the characters. I can't remember his name, but that touched me, and you know, all the nutcases that you say come to Alma and everything. But anyway, moving on, why Alma? I mean, how did you get into that? How were you attracted to her ashram and everything?
Well, I met Alma in 1987 when she first came to the USA, and it's kind of a long story, but someone I went to a Buddhist center and told them I was interested in becoming a monk, even though I was living with a woman at the time, and my first good girlfriend.
Yes.
But so I told this she was actually a Zen nun. I told her I really wanted to go to India and become a monk. And she said, oh, there's a saint coming from India. Why don't you come and meet her in a couple of months? She's coming to our center in Boston. So I went to Boston, and there's, this little brown woman up on stage singing devotional music, and it was very powerful music. And then afterwards, people were going up in this little line to receive a hug from her. I thought, well, this is really funny. So, you know, I got in the queue, and I'm just, I get like 3 people away from her, this is Amma, the hugging thing. I start feeling this heat in my body, like this divine energy that seems to be coming from her. And I'm, well, this is pretty bizarre. What is going on here? So then I come up here, and she gives me a very beautiful, intimate hug, and she dips her finger in sandal paste and puts it here on my forehead for just a few seconds and looks right in my eyes, and it's very sweet. And I get this flash of lightning in my brain. And I eat the piece of chocolate that she gave me, and I'm still seeing lightning flashing through my brain, and I'm like, well, this is really something, you know? I was like, you know what, I better stay overnight and see her again the next day. And someone told me, oh, there's an opportunity to ask her questions. So I said, well, let me ask her about becoming a monk, you know? So I stayed overnight in my car, and called into work sick the next day, and then went to the next program. And all night long, my brain was filled with these flashing lightning bolts. I wasn't sleeping well because I just apparently from the touch of a finger, I had this light show going on in my brain. I was like, this is not an ordinary human being. I don't know what exactly we have here. But so then the next day, there were about 35 people in the room. It was, you know, her first year there. And I thought to myself, well, instead of going right up for the first hug, why don't I sit here and just watch everybody going and imagine that I'm the one that's going up for the hug. So this way I can have 35 hugs. Yeah. So I sat there watching and imagining all these hugs, and after about 15 minutes I'm going into a very beautiful bliss state, having all these hugs in my imagination. Now when I finally get up to Amma for my own hug, she looks at me and she sees the sandal paste mark from the night before, because I hadn't even had the sense to wash my face, let alone take a shower. And she looks at me and says, oh, already had darshan. This is as if, oh, you're trying to sneak in for seconds. What is this? And I said, no, this is from last night. She said, oh, okay. And so she could hug anyway, but sort of give me a suspicious look. And afterwards I thought, well, you know, if she really didn't know that she hadn't hugged me already that morning, well then this is not my guru, because I know my guru, whoever it is, you know, one with God, omniscient, never misses anything. But maybe she was actually telling me that she knew that I had been out there imagining that I was receiving 30 hugs, and therefore she had already given me a hug. Yeah. And that was the truth of the matter, but it was too much for me to grasp. She's too subtle. You know, you would be expecting someone who's there as a saint to be sort of showing off her divinity, right? Be sort of impressing everyone with how omniscient she really is. You wouldn't expect them to be actually hiding and sort of pretending not to know something that she obviously did know. This was more than I could understand, you know? She was actually testing whether I had the wisdom to see through her disguise into the goddess that is right within that disguise. And this is still the case with her. She really embodies the divine mother of the universe. She embodies omniscience and infinite love.
So she sees into people's souls, and she knows exactly what they need to learn. So she's able to give you that message. Is that what you mean?
That's absolutely right. In other words, she's, well, you know, the image, one of the images I like to use to understand Amma is that she's like the infinite ocean of consciousness. And each one of us is like a little wave on that ocean. And she appears to be just another wave. But there's no ego in her. There's no barrier between her human self and the entirety of that infinite ocean.
So she
is already within each one of us. So the ocean is already within all the waves. So she knows all about us. She knows everything about us. So when we come before her, you know, we're like, she sees her own self, and she sees everything we've been through. She knows every moment that we've lived, and she, you know, we are herself. We are her beloved children.
So in a way, it's when you talk about the healings that she's done, that people with cancer have gone and been hugged and, you know, and been healed. It's very much like Jesus. That Jesus never saw anything but health and love. And of course, Course in Miracles tells us that there is no death, there is no illness, there is no disease. So she's on that same vibration. That's what you're saying. That she is on the same vibration that Jesus and Buddha and all these, you know, higher beings that we aspire to our brothers and sisters, as Jesus would like to say in A Course in Miracles, and I like that. And so
Yes.
she's on that same vibration where you say in the book, from the time she was born, more or less, she was meditating. That she was already meditating,
yes.
and
Yeah, she was born. She was born with the knowledge that only God is real. She was, she was born with that, and she was born with a smile on her face, and she didn't cry when she was born. And within 6 months she was walking. So she was a very full little baby. she was a divine incarnation, and no doubt for me that's the truth. Although she does not get up and declare I am a divine incarnation, I'm the Savior. She doesn't do that at all. She just simply says, I'm your servant, and I'm your mother, and come and I'll help you, I'll give you compassion. And she demonstrates what she is by her daily life. You watch her for just 2 days, and you can't help but be amazed and impressed by this is divinity in action.
So she completely turned your life around. I mean, forgive me if I say this, because I'm talking about myself here. And that I started out, as I say, I had an eating disorder, then I went on to the stage, and then in a way, I got addicted to lots of other things. And up until nearer the end of the book, it feels like you're addicted to her. You're addicted to her hugs. You can't live without the hugs. And then suddenly you realize, hang on a second, that's not it. She's everywhere. She's that consciousness, that love, and you felt that it was touching you everywhere you went. So you didn't need to be with her physical body. You knew that she was everywhere, and that's when that realization must have happened, that you don't need to be addicted anymore, because it was everywhere.
There's the addiction to the Guru's presence is the addiction that heals you of all other illnesses. And then finally, you're set free from that addiction as well. It's like it's revealed to you that of course the Guru was omnipresent and the Guru was actually your true self. So finally everything falls away but the supreme reality, which is your own true being. Not something that you're getting from someone else. It's not like that. But the Guru embodies that supreme reality who you truly are. And so contact with the Guru of whatever kind, devotion to the Guru, it leads you to the discovery of your own true nature as being one with God. So then you don't need anything anymore. Then you become one who sheds light to other beings. But the grace of the Guru and contact with the Guru can lead you to that state.
She's able to manifest that consciousness that we call pure love, that Jesus talks about in the Course in Miracles, like he's on that vibration.
And she never leaves that state. That's my experience of her, is that she's established in that so fully and so permanently that her vessel is always overflowing. She goes 20 hours a day and sleeps for 1 hour or 2 hours and is back the next day to do the same exact thing. And while she's giving these hugging programs, she's also running a huge charitable network.
Yes, I love
amazing work all around the world, and especially in India. But wherever there's a natural disaster in the world, she will send a team of volunteers. She will send money, clothes, food, medicine. And even $1 million she gave to the victims of Hurricane Katrina in the USA. This is from India, but.
You talked about tsunami and all of that. But you talked about tsunami, that she supports a lot of the families, and you were actually in that. You were actually there when it happened, when the tsunami happened?
Yes, I was there. My wife and I were there when the tsunami hit. We were up on the 10th floor in our apartment in the ashram, and we didn't even realize what had happened. Well, maybe it was only half an hour after the tsunami had come in that I went out of the balcony and saw, what's going on? The river is full of all this garbage and all. Walked and thought, what happened? And I thought maybe somebody upriver had dumped a whole bunch of junk into the river. But one of our neighbors said, oh no, didn't you hear there was a tsunami? And there's another wave coming, and then I go running down and I see, wow, the ashram is full of grief.
I think I'm losing you.
And Amma is wading through of water. Giving urgent instructions to her disciples to save, because people drowned in the area.
Yeah.
There were something like 6 deaths in the peninsula where the ashram was located. None of Amma's devotees died, but there were people who were living in the community who didn't suffer very much. And so there were old people trapped in buildings.
Oh.
So her disciples come running out to take care, and she had everybody come across the river into her university campus. So she gave shelter to the whole community. And immediately started giving 3 meals a day to everybody and shelter to anybody who needed it. And then they started immediately to build a new set of shelters for anybody who had lost their homes. And these shelters were completed within 3 days. And whereas the government, because of the usual red tape, was really not able to do much. They were just arguing and politicizing everything, but nobody not doing anything. And so Amma was able to immediately go and do what was necessary. And we were out there serving food. There were, I don't know, maybe 10 on the local villagers to come and get 3 meals a day. And we were participating in that. And doctors were there. Amma has a hospital right at the ashram, and also a very big and excellent hospital a few hours away. And so doctors had come, and they were setting up free medical clinics for everybody. And
but for yourself, that must have been a really frightening experience, going through all of that.
I wasn't frightened, but God knows, for the villagers who lost their family members, it was horrifying. The mothers lost their babies, and children lost their parents. Horrifying. There's the videos. One of the things the ashram did was set up a mass funeral where all the bodies would be burned, and they could, the last rites of everybody could be given. And it's pretty sad. A coffin with a little baby in it, of a young boy who has to do the funeral for who died, Of course, it's horrifying. And one of the things that Amma did, one of the many things, was there were mothers who lost their only children in the tsunami. And Amma, and these were ladies who had their tubes tied to prevent further births, and then they lost their only children. So what Amma did was she asked the main hospital to give these ladies new operations to untie the tubes and make it possible for them to give birth again.
Wonderful.
And so there's interviews with these ladies who have been able to give birth again and their gratitude that they did.
So, the thing I really would love to ask is, I'm very open-minded about everything, and I believe in the power of love. I believe in prayer. I believe that we can heal anything, especially if we don't see the illness, as I said, in anyone. But why do we not know about her? I have heard about her on and off, about the hugging saint. But there are so many people that are sick and dying and in the Western world, and yet, why is it not out there? Do you understand what I mean? What's stopping all of this getting out there? Because we need, and also the other question was, can she train people to do what she does? With whatever can she actually get people to that level where obviously you're doing it with your book, and I'm doing it with my TV station. I'm hoping to make people happy and to raise the vibration, and do the opposite of what the media is doing, to show us, which is showing us what we're not anymore. But what I'm trying to say is we need more ways of getting out there to the ordinary person that's walking up and down the street here, and explaining to them that you don't have to suffer. So, does she run training programs of any kind where she trains people up? I know you didn't get accepted as a monk, and she laughed.
Well, in a way, her ashram is like that. She's not training us all to go out and give hugs to everybody, but she's training us to attain to attain the state of God realization. That's the ultimate goal of life, and the goal for all of us, to attain that state of merging in God, where we can become pure instruments of the divine. But it's not such an easy goal to attain. It's something that may take lifetimes to attain. You know, saints are rare; they're few and far between, and divine incarnations are even fewer. And you know, so I would be lucky in this lifetime. It's a fantastic quest, and I do my best to meditate every day and to do my best to merge and to become one with God. But it's a slow process. I can certainly testify it's not so easy to suddenly become a saint. You know? So that's what the things that she's offering me. The people really wants to attain that. You come here, serve, learn the ways of purity and divinity, and do your best. And you know, in serving the guru and becoming part of this mission, where she's creating a tremendous amount of good karma, by contributing, you gain some of that karma for your own spiritual quest. So that is definitely one aspect. And the other aspect is, you know, so don't wait to become God realized. Start serving now, at whatever level you're at. And you're doing a beautiful job with your TV station. Exactly that. Whatever light you have, bring that candle out and shine it, because the world desperately needs people who are willing to speak up for spirituality and speak up for love and bring.
That actually came across so strongly for me. I woke up this morning and I sent you that email because I was very depressed yesterday. Because I was too stuck in what comes next and how and what, and I just came in today with an open heart and metaphorically was hugging everyone, and it was so powerful to be able to do that, thanks to the book and thanks to, you know, what came up inside of me, which was amazing. You just go out there and do the work and just see what happens. Don't worry about it.
I mean, everybody's got their song to sing, you know, and I think you're singing your song beautifully. And the more that we do, the more beautiful the song becomes. When we have the courage to step out and share our truth and speak up for God, speak up for light and love, you know, and contribute in whatever way we can, the world becomes more beautiful. But you know, God knows, you know, the internet is an amazing tool for light and love if we use it that way, but it's also an amazing tool for the powers of darkness that want to Jesus, and
then
hit the parts of garbage. So we have to speak up even more clearly now.
But then it's a beautiful way.
Our very best.
Sorry, it's beautiful the way you open the book with the darkness, and then as the book unfolds, we understand that the darkness is only there in order to bring in the light. It's there it's the opposite. So it shows us what we are not anymore, what we're not anymore. I had this conversation with someone about angels today.
You know, ultimately it's all God's play. And so to be able to see God's play within the light and the dark, and therefore love everybody without me discriminating until you're not worthy of love. No, everyone is worthy of love. Everything is worthy of love. Keep rising higher and higher in that love until we see that there's really nothing but love. And then we embody that love that shines out to everybody. I mean, this is.
It was like when I was reading, it was like you were looking inside me as well, and the way you describe when we have an awakening, it's like, oh my God, I'm so amazing, and then this beggar walks into the house, into this room, and they're sleeping on the streets. They got no food, no money, and they're sleeping in the cold, and I couldn't do that. And it's suddenly, total humility. You know, and I love the way you describe that in the book. I also like the way you say that you do these amazing meditations, and it's like, wow, I'm so in there. And then the next day, boom, you're right back again. You know what I mean? It's like we're human beings.
It's like that, isn't it?
You have to keep going and going and going. So it's beautiful.
That's right. You have to just persevere and keep surrendering to the Supreme. And have faith, and you know, And it's not an easy path. It's not an easy path, but it's the path of devotion is very sweet, you know, and we have that love. We have that, even that love carries us through the dark moments.
So you said there's a possibility, there's a big possibility now of a film. I can see that. It's so obvious, you know, it's so visual, the whole thing. So who's going to play you? Who would you like to play you?
I don't know. We have to find the next young Brad Pitt, you know? It's got to be. And hopefully Oprah can play Amma.
Oprah can play, of course. Amma, yeah. How old is Amma, by the way, in mortal youth?
I believe Amma is 62 years old.
Really? Yeah, she doesn't look it at all.
Yeah. And still going, I mean, all night long and do these programs that, you know, it's just superhuman energy. There's no doubt that she's not a human being. There's something much, much more powerful working through her. And, you know, I was sitting with Amma in India a couple of months ago in one of these programs she does in India where she's giving hugs to 40,000 people a day. Some of the Indian programs are huge, you know, and she goes all day, on a break, maybe she'll take a 5-minute break, but we're looking at something absolutely incredible. And the amount of bliss that gets generated, and the amount of devotion that gets generated in these programs is palpable. You know, you can really feel, wow, she's just uplifting so many people in one day. The joy that's generated is amazing. And it just occurred to me really deeply, well, you know, this has never really been done before in history. There have been many masters, of course. There have been great saints, and there have been divine incarnation, and there have been Buddha, and there's been Jesus, and there's been Krishna, and many others. But nobody has ever before given 30 million hugs.
30 million
You know,
hugs.
it's something new. This is like so completely accessible. I mean, there are great masters, but it's very about stuff. You know, you maybe see them for 5 minutes a day or something like this. So it's very rare to find a master at all. But a master who you can hug every day,
30 million.
a master who's just in with the masses, giving everything she can to uplift everyone. I mean, there's no limit. It's just like this is something new. Although, of course, it's the same essence as Jesus and Buddha and Krishna, but this is something, I mean, you know, this is something extraordinary.
Yes.
It's something really extraordinary. Oh, I'm thrilled to be connected.
As I say, it's completely changed your life, and you know, you've had a completely different journey to the one that you thought you were going to have. So,
absolutely.
And so you've written quite a few children's books as well. And do you think you might be writing another one now about you know, for adults, or are you going to stop for a little while and take a breather and just relax?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm not somebody who writes every day. I write when I get the inspiration and I feel sort of an inner command from Amma to write this book, and I get the clue and I go, okay, I'll start. But otherwise, it's kind of meditation. You know, that for me is the priority. Is that making a direct effort to attain God realization rather than sitting meditating. But so I don't know what will happen. I do have a couple of other children's books that are in the hands of artists. The text is finished, and then the artist, but to get the artist to come up with 25 paintings is not such an easy thing. So we'll see, when the art is finished, then I'll jump on the designing the book and editing it out and putting it together. But it's up to God to see, you know, whether God really wants to finish that out or not. I don't know.
Well, this is
and as far as another book, I don't know. At this point, I'm really happy to have the time to meditate. So the last part I could say was the possibility of having the book made into a film. I mean, that would be fantastic.
That's going to be very exciting.
That would be awesome.
Very exciting.
Because the best wisdom I have is really in this book. You know, so to be able to bring this to the world in a big way would be a great blessing.
It's wonderful. I think the message, every child should be brought up with the knowledge from A Course in Miracles and the philosophies that we don't, you know, you're never upset for the reason you think. and what you think is bad, you know, there is no such thing as bad and good, and we don't know the meaning of anything, and that everything that happens that we think is a negative is actually leading us to enlightenment. And it's just so incredible. It's like turning the world is completely upside down in that teachings, changing all our beliefs around. And I think children would benefit a hell of a lot if they were brought up with those philosophies rather than the beliefs we are brought up with that cause us so much suffering, because we're so attached to what we think is right. And
yeah, I completely agree. And the opportunity to share high knowledge with the world is there, and we should take it. You know? Whenever we can, we should be able to spread light and wisdom that liberates. And there is that truth, and the truth is liberating. But boy, it's hard to find in the modern world. You know, it's there, but there's so much. And the media is so strong, so attractive, and so hypnotizing. With, you know, all the stuff that draws us into ignorance.
Yes.
And, so
that's what I'm trying to. What I'm trying to counteract. I'm trying to create a positive media, a media where everyone is important, and give everybody back the positivity, the esteem, and show them that the media is them all the time, the opposite. And just very quickly, so how did you meet Russell Brand? That must have been a bit of an experience. How did you meet him? And how did that all that happen?
Say this again, the question?
How did you meet Russell Brand? How did you meet him?
Oh,
how did that happen?
Yeah, he was at Amma's ashram at New Year's this year. He's met Amma several times, and I guess he's becoming more and more a devotee of Amma. And so he was at the ashram. I heard he was there, and then I happened to be sitting right next to Amma while she was giving her darshan program, and I see Russell Brand came up to receive a mantra from Amma, and I was sitting right next to them, and a little light bulb went off in my head. Wow, I bet he would really love my book. Because he also went through, of course, you know, major drug issues, and now he's awakening spirituality in a very good way. So, and of course, he's hysterically funny. And my book is also really funny. So I thought, this is really a good match. I thought he would love this.
And he also looks like Jesus.
I wrapped up my book.
Sorry, I was going to say, he also looks like Jesus. There's both of you.
Yeah.
You know, with your long hair, and people thought you were Jesus. Yeah.
And he's got this show called Messiah Complex. So I did this Messiah Complex, and I wrote a book. Speaking of the Messiah Complex, honey, I really had one. So I wrapped it up in a piece of paper and brought it to him and gave it to him a big hug. We had a beautiful long hug, and I said something like, "You're so beautiful. Thank you for letting us all free." Because I love his freedom. This is one thing he does embody: is the complete freedom to be whatever he is and say whatever he wants to say in that moment, any way he wants, and I love that. I just think that's fantastic.
It's a total stream of consciousness,
you know, in the context of divinity. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very lucky.
That's my path as well, is bringing out whatever is within you and seeing the divinity within everything, not fear, you know? And so, we had a beautiful moment of connection. The next couple of days later, I posted on Twitter and on Facebook a photo of himself reading the book, and to something like 11 million people.
Wow.
So this was rather fantastic.
That's brilliant. So just to finish, if people want to get the book, how can they get it? Because all the proceeds are going to the image in Kerala. and that's embracingtheworld.org, Amma's website. That's right.
Yes.
All the proceeds.
Yeah, so all the royalties, yeah, all the royalties are going to Amma's orphanage. And the website where you go to find the book is www.rising-inlove.org.
Okay.
Rising-inlove.org.
Okay, and you can actually download the ebook, or you can get the physical book on Amazon. Is that right?
Right. Here's the book. It's a lovely, nice fat 300 pages. Really nice book.
Beautiful.
So yes, it's available on Amazon from that website, rising-inlove.org. And all the royalties are going to Amma's orphanage. So it's a beautiful service project.
It's wonderful. It's a really good thing that you're doing, and it's been very exciting interviewing you. Thank you so much. And when you get to me up, you must come and visit. I'd love to meet you.
That would be lovely. You're very sweet.
Thank you. I've never been to India yet, but if I do get to, I would love to know. I'd love to meet Amma and experience her hug. I mean, from my point of view, as I say, from my meditations this morning, I started to meditate on her sending me some hugs. Because I tried to explain to you about the word in Hebrew, Ima is mother, and Amma feels like I am mother, and it's what I've been craving, is, you know, that motherly needs that at the moment, of maternal hug.
Well, you know, Amma comes to London every year. She comes in sometime in October, November. Somewhere there's about 2 weeks where she's in Europe every year. So she comes to London for days. And I think every other year she goes to Ireland also.
And everything is free, isn't it? You see, this is beautiful.
The program the hug is free, and there are retreats, which she does maybe like during the 6-week US tour, 3 retreats or 4 retreats. And the retreats